One rocket, one explosion on a Florida launch pad, and 5 newsrooms that couldn't agree on what to even call it. The BBC said Mishap, the Wall Street Journal said it explodes, and the New York Times barely mentioned the launch pad at all. It led with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. This is AI Command App Media Lens, Evening Edition. Here's what actually happened. On Thursday, Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket, the heavy lift vehicle owned by Jeff Bezos, exploded during a ground test at Cape Canaveral. Blue Origin said no one was injured and all personnel were accounted for. The rocket has a role in NASA's Artemis program to return astronauts to the moon, so the failure raises questions about that timeline. Those are the facts everyone agrees on. Now watch what each newsroom does with them. PBS NewsHour framed it around the mission. Its headline, How a Blue Origin Rocket Explosion Could Impact NASA's Moon Mission. And notice the order of its reporting. It led with reassurance. No one was injured, all personnel accounted for. Only then did it turn to the Artemis program. Public stakes first, no blame. The New York Times went somewhere completely different. Its headline, What's Next for Blue Origin After Rocket Explosion? But its opening line wasn't about the moon at all. It was about the billionaire scoreboard. Jeff Bezos was gaining ground on Elon Musk's SpaceX and Starlink. Of all 5 outlets, only the Times made this a story about who's winning the space race between 2 of the richest men alive. ABC News reached for an expert. It put retired NASA astronaut Susan Kilrain on camera to discuss what setbacks could result. Cautious, technical, the voice of someone who has actually flown, talking about risk, not rivalry. The BBC chose one word that changed the temperature of the whole story. Its headline didn't say explosion, it said mishap. What does Blue Origin rocket mishap mean for NASA's moon mission? And its science correspondent called it a setback for space exploration. Not for Bezos, not for NASA, but for the broader project of getting humans off the planet. And the Wall Street Journal? It just showed you. Watch. Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket explodes on launch pad during Florida test. No impact analysis, no rivalry, no moon. The verb explodes, the location, the word test. Pure description. So what does this tell you? Every outlet had the same statement and the same footage. The disagreement wasn't about facts, it was about meaning. Is this a safety story, a NASA story, a billionaire rivalry story, or just a thing that happened on a launch pad? Notice the pattern. The gentlest word, mishap, came from the outlet framing the widest stakes, and the sharpest business framing came from the outlet watching the Bezos-vs-Musk race. Neither is wrong, but if you only read one, you walked away certain the explosion meant one specific thing, when it could just as easily mean 4. That's tonight's Media Lens. 2 deep dives a day, every day. Subscribe and hit the bell. See you tomorrow morning.